In this video, we will be discussing about the basics of pituitary gland, which are required to understand the endocrinology. I mean, these will be very minimal basics. Uh, starting with the hormones produced by the anterior pituitary gland, anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Six hormones we need to remember: prolactin, growth hormone; adrenocorticotropic hormone; luteinizing hormone, follicular stimulating hormone, and thyroid stimulating hormone. Six hormones. Anatomy: 600 grams, located in sella turcica, which is a bony location in the anterior cranial fossa, uh, which lies in close vicinity to the cavernous sinuses. Two lobes of of pituitary gland, anterior and posterior. Posterior is also called neurohypophysis. Right. Blood supply: superior and inferior hypophyseal arteries. Posterior pituitary is directly innervated by the hypothalamic neurons. I mean neurons from hypothalamus. Their endings, nerve endings, lie in the posterior lobe of pituitary gland. The hormones are produced by these neurons in the hypothalamus, and they are released in the pituitary stalk. Suppose this is hypothalamus. Here are the cell bodies of the neurons, and this is the pituitary gland. This is the stalk. The neurons, they release the hormones in the pituitary gland. It will be posterior lobe. Two hormones which are produced in hypothalamus and released in pituitary are ADH and oxytocin. ADH is also called vasopressin. ADH means antidiuretic hormone. Vasopressin and oxytocin, very important hormones produced by the pituitary gland, posterior lobe of pituitary gland. So six hormones by the anterior and two hormones by the posterior lobe. Development of pituitary gland. See, development is very complex, but we need to know the minimum basics. Development is from Rathke's pouch. There are a few markers which are markers and transcription factors which are necessary to be understood, uh, so that we can understand that how different lineages of cells are developed. One of the marker is SOX2. It is marker of pluripotent cells. Pluripotent cells means those cells which can develop into any form of other cells. For example, in this case, because there are six hormones produced by the anterior pituitary gland, and these six hormones are produced by six different kinds of cells, but they all develop from one single kind of pluripotent cell. The marker of that pluripotent cell is SOX2. Now there are different transcription factors which help in differentiation of these pluripotent cells into the specific kinds of cells. For example, PIT1 is a transcription factor which will convert the pluripotent cell into growth hormone, prolactin, and TSH secreting cell. Like growth hormone is produced by lactotropes. So for conversion of pluripotent to lactotropes, we require PIT1. For conversion of pluripotent cells to ACTH secreting cells, we need TPIT. For conversion of pluripotent cells into luteinizing hormone and FHS secreting cells, we need DX1. Similarly, SF1 is also required for LH and FSH secreting cells. So these are transcription factors, which is a topic of just mugging them up. Very important, but yes, we need to remember them. Their mutations can cause corresponding hormone deficiencies. That is the relevance of remembering these transcription factors. Suppose if there is any mutation in these transcription factors, then what will happen? The corresponding hormone will become deficient, and resultant clinical features will be evident. For example, growth retardation, for example, delayed onset of puberty or no puberty at all, right? So these kind of clinical features we will see if there is mutation of these transcription factors. That is why it is important to remember them. So this was all about the basics of pituitary gland, which is the bare minimum that we know, that we should know to understand the other topics of endocrinology. So that is all. Thank you for listening this.